And good evening and welcome to the Jackson Christian Coaches Show. We're at Hub City Deli on Pleasant Plains Extended. We've got a great crowd of people, but there's still room for you to come down and get some of the best sandwiches you ever had. And, of course, you know I'm going to mention the one I like, the Piggy Sue with 2 grilled pork chops on. But you can't get that one every week. They bring it in, but they've got others. The brisket, you can't beat it. And you wouldn't think a deli had great hamburgers. This one does. The food is great here. We got young people here, too, the cutest young people. Coach Phillips' children are with him. But we're going to have a great show. My first 2 guests and leading it off will be Coach Bullard and Coach Phillips. And, of course, they are on the defensive side of the football. And everybody that's a Jackson Christian School fan, and we had listeners last week that aren't Jackson Christian fans, but rapidly becoming that way. Gentlemen, before we talk about anything, our defense did great.
Absolutely. We talked in the last show about needing to shore up some things, and Coach, I think we got that done and put on a good show, and Coach Phillips had a good plan for us, and the guys executed that.
Absolutely. Coach, that was a tough squad to defend.
We talked about how when we got there, we had seen their roster and their sizes on paper, and I think they were a little bit bigger than what was listed. But, yeah, they were a tough offense to stop.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the late John Tucker used to put size L for size L, M, and then he had one guy he called Boxcar. And actually Boxcar Brown never really existed at Milan, but it was hard to judge. It was also hard to judge their speed. They were quicker than advertised, and their quarterback, who Coach Bullard and I was talking about, a great baseball player. You said he was their leadoff man. I didn't know. I knew when I saw him he was batting in the 2 spot, but that also means he's a pretty good player. He can throw the football really well. And, folks, I don't think you really understand how great this 24-17 victory was. And we did the job. The kids did the job. We're going to talk to some of those kids tonight. We're going to talk about them. But let's go ahead and start getting some assessments. We have a tough ball game. We start under adverse circumstances. Bus trip is bad enough because we always like to play at home. But we get there and we dress under adverse circumstances. The kids, I think they took the worst that could be dealt with them, and they handled it well, didn't they, Coach?
Absolutely. The trip started, we're about halfway there, and get a flat tire on the trailer, on the equipment trailer. And so the adversity kind of started on I-40. Yeah. But then we get to the church we were going to, and thankful for Highland Church of Christ there in Memphis letting us come and dress and there and get taped and all those things. And then we got to the stadium probably 35 minutes before kickoff. It was hot. But, one thing that really sticks out to me, I didn't hear a kid complain. We, as coaches, sometimes I think we complain a little bit more than they do about those kind of things. But they came, they showed up, they got dressed, and we got ready to go.
Well, actually, it was cooler on the field than it was in the broadcast booth.
Maybe so.
Coach, as a former offensive coordinator and you're a defensive coordinator, it was hard. It's got to be hard to get your kids together and talk to them under those circumstances. Yeah, you can circle them up, but as far as I know, you had no drawing board to work with unless you carried your own. The areas where, you either sit them or you get them, there really wasn't one, and I thought you did a good job getting your game plan out. The kids seemed to understand it, and really there were very few breakdowns.
It was definitely tough. I think we had a walkthrough in the little auditorium that we were in at Highland Church of Christ. And then when we got to the school, like he said, we had 35, 40 minutes to warm up. And then at halftime, I think we were sitting on some track equipment and just had to talk. And I had a piece of paper in my pocket, and that's what we drew some stuff up on and made some adjustments, and it worked out.
I can give you one other tip. You can draw good on the palm of your hand.
There you go.
I have actually scratched a play. That's terrible. These gentlemen did a great job. The players, and we've got 4 of them sitting to our right here, or to my right, and we're going to hear from some of them. And it was a great game. As a broadcaster, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I could have used Pepto-Bismol or Malox after the game, one or the other. And, Coach, your impressions, Coach Bullard, yours first, then we'll get Coach the whole game, offense and defense. These 2 gentlemen know defense like Jimmy Carter knows peanuts down in Georgia.
Coach, first off, offensively, I talked last week about wanting to continue to run the ball. and we didn't do it as efficient as we did against North Point, but we still had, I think, maybe close to 200 yards rushing in this game, and we were able to grind out some drives, and it was a grind. They held us to a field goal to start. We would have loved to punch it in and make it 7-0 on the first drive, but their defense held. And Zach, who we'll talk to in a little bit, hit his first field goal of the season, and great to get points on the board on the road. And so it was not as easy sledding as we had the week prior, but our offense and our offensive line did a great job. We had some guys go out and get dinged up, and guys come in, and we didn't really miss a beat. And we were able to execute that, and just proud of that again. Offensive line getting after it, and then the defense shoring up some stuff in the secondary. And our guys, we watched film with them today, the defensive line, and it was hard to move. Brandon Bennett, Cedric Anderson, and then you got Chilton in there, Chilton Smith doing a great job, Carson McKee doing a great job on the defensive line, which I'm going to be proud of those guys. That's the guys I get to spend the most time with.
Well, before we go over to Coach Phil, the dog position, Caleb Newsom, he got in on some big plays, and he was always chasing. I know that I talked a little bit to Andrew Adkins, the fine defensive coordinator for them, but we must have done a whale of a job there in the line. And like I said, and I like to say dog position because I like cute names like that.
Right.
That beats Rover and Monster right there. And, Coach Phillips, I got to ask you, are you the one that came up with the dog designation for that position?
So I worked for a guy at Dyer County named Eric Smith, and I don't know if he invented that term, but I brought it over with from his defense. And so, and Caleb, he fits that description too, because he gets after it. I mean, he's worked really hard to transform his body and turn into a player, and he's going to be a really good one in the future.
Now, I'm going to ask you, you're a defensive man, but say a couple of words about our offense. I thought we had a total team effort the other night.
So I used to coach offensive line for a couple years before I swapped over to the defensive side at Dyer County, and I'll tell you what, our offensive line, they work extremely hard. I'm going to be honest, there's sometimes at practice I get caught up watching them just because I go back to those offensive line days of enjoying that side of the football. But watching them work and those guards pulling, Greg Thaxton, Liam Cox, I mean, it's really exciting. It
really is. An unusual question or comment that I want both of y'all to comment on. We had one holding call in the offensive line. Now, I thought he was fixing to get away with it. The young man, was it Bennett that did? I forgot which one did it now.
It was Greg. It was Greg.
Mm-hmm. He had the arms and everything. If you're going to hold, that is the proper way to do it. And the only thing that happened is it slipped just a little bit. The referee would have never seen it if they had not turned. And he was trying to let go. And believe it or not, I can be proud of something like that because guess what? He was giving the all-out effort. What did y'all think about it?
At live, I saw the flag go, and I knew immediately who it was on. But there for a second, it didn't look like he was going to throw the flag. And I thought we got away with one, and Walker made a heck of a play to catch that ball and get in the end zone. I hate that play didn't count. But I'm with you. That's an effort type thing, trying to protect his quarterback. And we can live with those.
And see, in the NFL, they just tell you to reach out and grab hold of and protect your quarterback. This was as good a job, and it almost wasn't called. I did find that out much later after the game was over that it nearly went by because it was really on the borderline. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit of a wrap-up. Now, let's go over a few highlights from the game, and both of you can comment. Cam Boyd keeps it going, 24-131. I'll take that any day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He had some tough yards and then just kept pounding, and then broke a long one. So we're proud of Cam and what he was able to do again this week for sure. And
the one thing I noticed now that St. George's did, and again, that's a Jackson Christian 2005 graduate that heads up their defense. And Andrew had them on one side. They set the corner extremely well. I believe it was to the left of our
number one.
offense.
Number one. Yeah, he was getting after it. Yes, sir.
And then they had two guys flow. They didn't do as good a job, and we did a great job on the right side. We could run it better that way. But then it sets up a play that we're going to talk a lot about to Campbell Scott. 33 yards, basically untouched, other than somebody might have dropped a little sweat on his jersey reaching for him. Great blocking, fooled him, and they were chasing the wrong direction in another great play.
And I'll let Campbell talk about that specific run, but it was awesome watching him come to the sideline and talk about the hole that he saw and how he just ran for daylight. And I won't take that moment away from him as well. But
Campbell's a good hard runner. Coach, your guys have to tackle him sometimes when you got best on best.
Oh, yes. He's very strong. But I went back and actually watched that play either last night or this morning, and to see him explode through and trust that offensive line, that hole that they opened up, it was great to see.
In the kicking game, actually there was something for teams watching our films to learn. You may stop us down in the red zone for 3 downs, but on 4th down, and what's funny is I keep seeing that commercial with Martine Grammatica, and they say Automatica Grammatica. Mm-hmm. We've got a young man, and we had a good one last year. We got a good one this year that's even going to get better. We're going to get 3 on you if we get inside the 20.
Absolutely. And I touched on that a little bit earlier. That was huge to get points there when they kind of stopped our drive. It was, and Zach is only going to get better, like you just mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. Zach Cisco, who used to be known as Will's little brother, but I'm afraid Will, he's getting some notoriety.
He's coming to his own.
And, of course, both of them have helped. One of my favorite people is Shane Cisco, but Shane is – their dad now. They don't know him as Shane Cisco anymore, and that happens. That's going to happen to you. You got 2 that one day you'll cease to be Coach Rob Phillips and you'll just be their dad. I've already been through that, and some great things. Now we haven't beaten St. George's since 2009. That's got to be a great thing, people.
Absolutely, and we touched on that, Coach, and you talked about the history, and you know a lot more about that. And we knew it was a storied program, and we were proud to get that victory, especially on the road.
Absolutely. It was a great one. A storied program. They had Ken Nettle in there coaching at one time. They've been to the state and done well there, and it's a big win. And it was 195. I had my wrong stat sheet out in front of me. And when I came in, the first thing when Coach handed me, I put something on top, and I didn't see it. I said, Coach, it's 195, but – I am proud of
Coach
every
McLean
victory.
had us right there, and
yes.
He's keeping up with that for us.
Oh, he's great at that. Here's something I liked, and it's not because the score was 40-8. You guys have got to be very proud of our middle school program, and there are 2 bookend tackles on there. I'll take Lucas and Tristan any time. They can come play for me right now. We'll start our own school and have a team.
Don't take them away from us now. We need those guys.
That entire offensive line gets after it.
Aren't they good at doing that? And your quarterback is something to lo and behold on that. And we got some good kids coming back. We're going to have a lot of good players to play with in the future.
Absolutely.
But I encourage people to get out and see that middle school team.
Absolutely.
They beat TCA 40-8 last week. Now, we're just going to tease this one. I'm catching my breath before I say it. I lived in Mount Pleasant for 4 years, went to church with some of the young men and the coaches there. We had Columbia Academy coming. We didn't get the opportunity to do much with them last year, but the year before, it's one of those games where you can't focus on revenge and stuff, but we can focus on beating them, and we do owe them a little bit because they came in here, I believe, 0-4, 0-5, something like that. And we didn't bring our A game that night. I don't think we'll have any trouble this year bringing the A game.
I think we're going to be ready, Coach. I hope so. I hope we're going to get them ready. Absolutely.
Coach, I know you're going to have them ready to defense. And they've got some running backs. And the rumor is, I just haven't seen it, they have a passing game, something they haven't had in the past.
They've got a very talented receiver that I think he has 2 or 3 touchdowns this year. And now one of the I say that, some of that was in the Jamboree. But he made some big plays, and he looks very, very talented. So we might have our hands full with that, but we'll try to come up with the best plan possible and put it to work.
And, of course, y'all know Charlie Lansdale well. He was on the staff once upon a time, I believe, about the same time he and Eric Cohue were here at the same time. And
yes, sir.
Eric, of course, left us to go to Liberty University. And I don't know if he's still teaching there, but he turned into an excellent professor besides coaching a little bit up there. And those are some things you'll look for. But you know what? I love history. I love the past history of our school, of sports and things like that. This is this year. And all of that is nice. It's not going to put any points on the board. It's not going to tackle anybody, is it?
Right. Absolutely not.
When we come back with y'all's segment, and I believe that our first guest, and I better check my list, because it is over here in my phone. The first one to come up is going to be Campbell Scott, and we'll have him in a minute. We're going to take a break, but I have let you slip by. Folks want to know about you, what school you went to, where you played high school, what you did in college, etc., what you're teaching at school. And Coach Bullard, somebody told me I left something out, so can you think of what we left out about you last week?
I don't know about that. That makes me a little bit nervous.
It made me nervous because they didn't tell me. They said, well, you left out some important stuff. We mentioned your records at Freed and stuff, which you still hold some. Josh Sears did his best to get rid of some of them.
Yes, sir, he did. Coach, I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to dig down deep for that one.
Well, maybe we'll find out. But Coach Rob Phillips, the defensive coordinator, people want to meet you up close and personal, so tell them all about you.
Well, I grew up in Nashville. I went to Good Pasture Christian School, played for David Martin there. Was a part of 2 state runner-up teams. Unfortunately, we ran into Alcoa both times. I ended up going to Freed-Hardeman and met my wife, Lane, and we've got 2 kids, Glenley and Porter, and they both are here at Jackson Christian too. I teach 8th and 9th grade science, and I never thought, I'm going to be honest, I never thought I would be a science teacher, but I tell kids all the time when you get in a classroom, they're like, what am I going to use this for? I'm like, you never know. When you get later on in life, you don't know when you're 15, 16 what you're going to do the rest of your life. But I've really grown to love science and teach that to our 8th and 9th graders at school. Science
is fascinating. I've got several certifications, but Union paid for my scholarship, and I took 21 hours a semester. Folks, don't do that. You go to school, take 16 to 18, make 18 the most. Only crazy people take 21 hours a semester. Went to a good school, Freed-Hardeman. I got lots of friends, including Mike McCutcheon. Now, when you were down there, was Mike just the basketball coach then, or had he been promoted?
When I was down there, Coach Shelton was actually the basketball coach.
Coach Shelton was, all right. And so that means
Coach McCutcheon was the AD.
That's right. He was already AD. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Coach Jason Shelton, we got to get him in here. I'm going to tell some stories off on him because he was one of Don Meyer's student coaches. And I remember when he played, he was a baseball player too. Tallest second baseman in the state of Tennessee.
He loves baseball. He'll tell you that little fact you just gave too.
And Coach, there's some stories at David Lipscomb camps. And, of course, Don ran as fine of camp as there is, and that's where my first contact with Jason was. And I'm laughing about it because, like I said, I do know some good stories on Jason, and those are things. But Freed-Hardeman, great favorite sports movie. We got to get some of those things in.
Oh, it's always been Hoosiers, but I really like Moneyball. And if I could add this in a TV show, I'd go Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. I just happened to watch the version of the movie last night. I had to. We got in, and first thing it was on one of those channels on JA 394, whatever it is. You have to go up high to get it, and it was there. And that's a great movie. And sports heroes are people that influenced your life in sports.
Oh, my dad is a coach, or I guess I'll say he was a coach. He just got out of coaching this past summer. But he coached football for a long time, and then he just got out of coaching softball there at Good Pasture. So I would say just being around football and softball my whole life with my dad have really influenced me into going to coaching.
And I know that you love Jackson Christian School. Teaching class is a big thing. What's the most fun thing at practice for you?
Oh, at practice?
At practice. And that's what I failed to ask you. It just dawned on me because I'm sitting here mentally running that. But there's got to be, for me, well, when I played, the Oklahoma drill was my favorite.
I don't know. I'm big on our defensive team session. I like getting over on the sideline and talking to the team and getting all excited and then going out there. And we usually go 10 to 15 plays there right at the end of defense. And I don't know. It's fun to have the entire group out there running around.
Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all's practices, I call them tempo practices because they're snap, 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 and things happen just that quick. We don't waste any time, and then we get our kids off the field. Am I correct? Y'all may have a different term for it.
Well, it kind of depends on what kind of mood Coach Palmer's in, but we try to keep it rolling. Coach does a good job. No, we do, I think, a good job of getting it fast-paced and keeping the kids not entertained, but you know what I mean, locked in. focused, and we don't try to spend hours out there that we don't need to be there.
Kind of like the time, let's make use of the time that we're planning to be out there. Let's get as many snaps as we can while we're out there.
Absolutely. You two are younger than I am, but all three of us have been through football practices that went on and on and on. And the new modern coach moving it a little quicker, but we play a different style of football. And now we're going to come back. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, we're going to start having the young men. And I think one of them that we're going to talk to and lead off with is Campbell Scott. This is a very articulate young man, but what he does for this program, and it's not just coming in when Cam comes out. He's more to this program. We're going to let him tell you about it. And when we come back in 2 minutes at Hub City Deli here on Pleasant Plains Extended, we will talk to Campbell Scott. Let's take that 2-minute timeout.
Hello, folks. This is Gary Deaton, right here at Deaton's Carpet One. I want to let you know we've been in business for 48 years. Here's what I believe has made the difference. Our lifetime labor warranty on everything we install. Our healthy living installation, bacteria and germs cannot survive in our new flooring. Our beautiful guarantee, if you don't just love it, we'll replace it. It will make your flooring experience priceless. We're located on Freedom Highway, 1000 Highway 45 bypass in good old Jackson, Tennessee.
At Southern Family Dentistry, we use E+ broadband at both of our locations. We use digital x-rays at both of our offices, and we need the high-speed access to be able to submit all of our x-rays electronically for the insurance companies. Installation was simple. We experienced little to no downtime. I would highly recommend E+ broadband to anyone in the commercial market. The reliability is second to none, and the service is the best.
Great American Sports, Sports and Addiction, located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in teen sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your teen sports. You can email or call us for all your teen sports needs. Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction.
Football looks fun. I bet I would have been great at it. The first football playing deer, they would have made a movie about me and everything. Probably get Kurt Russell to play me. But alas, me and my dreams run right over again.
For fast, reliable collision repair, trust the experts at Mitchell's Body Shop. And get back out there.
And we are back here at Hub City Deli with the Jackson Christian Coaches Show after a big win, 24-20 win over St. George's on a game that on paper we weren't supposed to win, but we don't play these games on paper. We play them with the fine players from Jackson Christian School. Co-hosting with me tonight is Coach Brian Bullard. You'll hear him again several times during the season. Won't hear him on any baseball games because he'll have to be working with those in our fine baseball team who is they were young last year, won some big games, won one I know we weren't supposed to, and we're getting better, and I know some kids have been throwing, but more important than that, he wears number 10 on his uniform. But he is number one in your heart and has to be the way he plays. He gives it everything he's got. And, Coach, before we introduce him, I'm going to let you say something about Campbell Scott, whatever you want to say about him.
Absolutely. This is a guy that I've been around. He's been here since I've been here. And we've cut through middle school and high school, baseball, football, both. I talked about those guys last week being hard workers, and they're going to be right even and maybe a little bit behind this one. This guy, Campbell, is one of the hardest working kids that I've been around in my life. And just seeing the work he's put in, the weight room, the classroom, eating right, drinking right, making sure he's taking care of his body, which isn't always easy for you. But it's an adventure sometimes. But to see him punch one in the end zone, especially starting last week at North Point, getting one, and then this week scoring a big one, it makes you happy. It makes you smile and just proud that a guy that is unnecessarily waited his turn. He's helped us. He's been on the field. But, I mean, just to make a big impact like he's made so far this season, and the best is yet to come for him. And I'm proud to sit by him and talk about him and Campbell Scott.
Absolutely. Campbell, before I ask the question, I'm going to say this. I agree with what Coach said. You've been a good teammate, and you've waited your time out. A lot of young men do not have the patience, and if they will learn, one, through reading their Bible, and two, all good things come with time and patience, and I think you know that pays off after. Now, people want to know, I've been bombarded. What were you thinking before the football was ever snapped and you made the 33-yard run? There we go. Now we got
okay.
You. Yeah.
I didn't have much of a thought going through my head. I was concerned about the play that was at hand, and I was thinking, okay, I know where I need to hit. I know what's happening. I prepared myself enough in practice and treated it like it was a game so that if I can find the right gap, I'll be good. When I hit the gap, I didn't realize how big of a gap it actually was. So most importantly, the reason that happened, kudos to the offensive line. I haven't had many touches so far. We're only 2 games in, but each time that I've been given a chance, offensive line has made a hole that's at least 3 yards wide for me. So it's not hard to miss. And then after that, it's just doing the best that I can to try to get through it.
And new quarterback, Gage is different.
Yes,
Aaron played a lot of snaps, getting the timing, the handoff down, making sure we don't fumble. And this young man, Coach Bullard, seems to have as sure hands as I've seen.
Thank you.
And that's something that he's worked on. It hasn't come easy for him, and he's worked on it, continued to work on it, and it's paying off for him this year.
Now, over there, you were talking about offensive line. Preston's over there, and I know there's a lot of them listening, but you are very appreciative of those young men.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's get to talking about some other things. Number one, you play both ways. How tough is it on you to play both ways?
I expected it to be a little bit harder. It still is hard, don't get me wrong on that, but it's good. It's fun. I've had more fun in being able to relax within myself and enjoy the game for what it is, being a game this year, than I have any of the 3 years in the past. It's fun to run the ball. Love getting to tackle people, so I'm appreciative for the chance that I get to play on defense and that I'm able to be out there with people who understand that I like to have fun and who can have fun too.
Okay, and we're on Jackson Christian School's Facebook tonight, and Worthy Road Studios brings you those. This show will be archived. I'm looking at our executive producer. The show will be archived tonight, right? And, okay. That's what we got to do. We forgot, and it's my idea, and I forgot all about it. Let's take a time out, and no, we'll run it, and Paul, tell me when you run it, because I'm going to let Campbell can't see it, but
I can see part of it.
Can you see part
of it?
Yes, sir,
I can.
We got the touchdown run coming up there.
Mosley,
anything you want to say about it? Because to me, it was a great run.
Mosley's going in motion to the wide side.
Like I said, 3 or 4 yard hold.
Oh, here he goes. Kiss him goodbye. 33 yards.
Safety took
the
one,
the only. Campbell Scott,
with
33 yards for a
Gage
big
touchdown.
touchdown.
Out the fake made it easy. That's fun.
That really is.
Absolutely.
I like getting to be down there with those guys after
like
it.
Well, that's the second time that shot has been repeated.
Yes, sir.
And it is a great thing that they have repeated that shot. We played it Saturday on my sports show, too. And people wanted to see it. We got a great response to that. We were hoping, and I'm going to take the blame for that. Daniel had a great interception and all that at the end of the game. We'll talk about that. Now, we need to talk about your favorite side of the football, offense or defense.
I really don't know, to be honest with you.
You just like playing.
Yes, sir. I like playing.
Oh, that's a good thing. You'd even cover kickoffs, punt returns, or whatever.
Yes, sir.
And this type guy, I believe that if he was asked to, he'd take the water bottles out if he wasn't in the game.
I don't have any doubt about that.
Thank you.
Now, let's meet you up close and personal a little bit. First of all, how many sports do you play?
Play 2 sports. In the past, or this past year, I did it's all good. That's fun. Last year I did track and played football. Freshman year I played baseball, but then I decided to not play it for 2 years. This year I've decided after football, I was like, I miss baseball. I want to play it one more year because I don't want to get 4 or 5 years down the road and go, man, I wish I took that chance. It could have been my last chance.
Good.
So I'm going to play baseball this year. And I'm looking forward to doing that.
Well, you know, Coach Buller and I are a little partial to baseball, too, as much as we like that. But it's a good thing. Now, what about influences on your life? Sometimes when I ask this question, I say hero, but who had the most influence, and do you have any sports heroes?
Most influence is most definitely mom and dad. You probably get that answer from quite a few people, but mom and dad, and then in the past 2 or 3 years, it had been a youth intern at where we go to church named James Harris Fondren. He helped me through a little bit of times probably 2 or 3 years ago. If
you had to pick an athlete, and you can even go back in the past, who would you emulate? And I know some of our pro athletes don't have the morals and things that you had, but is there one that might have set the tone, and maybe it's only his on the field play?
I like Alvin Kamara. He came from Tennessee fan.
Well, now he's a little bit like you. He can do a little bit of everything.
Thank you. Watching his game, I enjoyed how fluid and relaxed it was. I had said just a second ago that the past 3 years I've been really tense and nervous. So I've actually got a card in the back of my wallet. We did something in the off season where it was like, write down one word that you want to make your game and how you play the sport about. And I wrote fluidity, chill, fun, like Alvin Kamara.
Excellent.
So,
favorite sports movie?
Greater, the one that features the story of Brandon Burlesworth. I enjoy that one.
Excellent. Now, at school, and you don't have to fluff the coaches up, what's your favorite academic class?
This past year, junior year, I really enjoyed anatomy and physiology with Dr. Hooper.
That's a tough class.
Yes, sir.
That is a very tough class. And favorite thing that happens besides lunch at Jackson Christian School?
Presley said lunch last time, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
I just enjoy getting to goof off in class sometimes. Whenever, of course, taking class seriously, but whenever there's a time at the end of class or between times where it's supposed to be important and you're supposed to be engaged, I enjoy just goofing around with people.
Absolutely. Your favorite Bible verse?
Favorite Bible verse is Psalm 103, 10 through 14.
Very good. Excellent on that. Quick thought, last week's game, a quick thought about it, and then a thought about Columbia Academy because we've got to focus. Last week is last week.
Yes, sir.
But a quick thought about that, and then tell us your thoughts going into this Columbia Academy game.
Of course, we had things that needed to be cleaned up. Hard-fought win. We did well. I'm proud of people. One person I was especially proud of was Zach McDonald. I've gotten to know him a little bit more this past year. There were a few times where maybe a play didn't go his way. There was a fumble or he missed a tackle or something like that, or on a 3rd and long conversion they were able to make a pass or something. I could tell easily with him that it was in his mind, and I was very proud of him that he was able to get past that and move on to the next play. Of course, it's coach speak, move on to the next play, but I was glad that he realized that and that he was able to do better the next play and that we ended out
absolutely
with a good football game.
I got one that's kind of impromptu because I'm close to changing times and getting another player on, but in practice, I know that the kid from Davison Academy told Tacker to his face that that's the hardest he ever got hit. Is it fun to go, and y'all may not go old Oklahoma drill and stuff like that anymore, but is it fun to get hit by Tacker in practice? He has been called an unlicensed chiropractor before.
I actually don't get hit by Tacker much.
Well, that's good then.
And it's not anything that he does. It's just who we have put on the field for the different situations that we run during practice. Sure. But I respect him, and I know for sure that he does hit hard. It's fun to watch him on film.
Well, I had a friend that likes him, and they wanted to know how it feels to be hit. I said, I've never been hit by Tacker. There's no way I can say that. But great job. Campbell, you are a joy to call games that you play in.
Thank you.
I've never seen you ever grab an ankle or goof off or anything like that. And sometimes, Coach, when he's hurt, he plays pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
He really does. We're going to take a timeout and change this, and we're going to see more big things out of Campbell Scott. Remember, maybe number 10 on the field, but he's number 1 in a lot of people's heart. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout from Hub City Deli on the Jackson Christian Coaches Show.
27 years ago, a vision became a reality and Snookum Steakhouse officially opened. We cut our steaks in-house and our ribeyes are full of flavor. The steak trimmings are used to make our certified Angus beef steak burgers, so when you order at Snookums, you are getting high quality. Enjoy our salad bar and mini dessert. Also try our famous family recipe, the Pink Lush Fruit Salad. Come visit Snookums Steakhouse in Henderson, Tennessee. We are open evenings Tuesday through Saturday but closed Sunday and Monday. Snookums Steakhouse, come taste the difference.
We are a team composed of highly skilled physical therapists with new school treatment approaches and old school customer service principles. We are a community presence because we know our foundation rests in relationship building and involvement. We are leaders in this industry and we're putting in time daily to develop that aspect of thinking. We're more than a business. We're a team composed of individuals governed by a set of core values. We're more than a physical therapy clinic. We're a movement in the profession. We are your premier physical therapy team in West Tennessee.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Wes Harris in Jackson today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Mitchell's Body Shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look good as new. And as for Buck, the story continues.
Back at Hub City Deli with the Jackson Christian Coaches Show. Coach Brian Bullard is my co-host tonight. Besides representing the coaching part, we had Coach Rob Phillips earlier. He'll be back with us when we go back to the second coaches segment. But sitting in with us, actually, I probably talked too much baseball about him on the broadcast the other night. The man with the golden hands at first base. And on the last play of the game, Coach Bullard, the golden hands catching a football. And that is number 85 himself, Daniel Green. Coach, I'm going to let you open up with the first question for Daniel this time.
I'm going to go ahead and ask Daniel this. Early in the week, he came into the office with one of the most off-the-wall injuries I have ever heard in about 10 years of coaching. And I'll let him talk a little bit about that. But this man didn't practice much. And how did you, Daniel, how were you able to stay focused and prepared and when your number was called, make a play for us?
Okay, so Monday evening, that's
okay.
It was Monday evening, and I was about to go mow the yard, and we have a few muscadine bushes, or vines. A lot of people don't know what that is, but it's a berry. And I was picking some, and I thought it was a thorn, and wasp got me twice on the hand.
That's worse than the thorn, Danny.
Yes, sir. Very much so.
Coach, you're right. I have not.
We just kind of he left, and we just kind of looked around at each other like we weren't expecting that one. But his hand was swollen, his arm was swollen, and the boy didn't practice very much last week.
What did you put on it immediately, or did you have to go to the doctor?
So I lifted it, I kept it elevated, and the swelling was just ridiculous. So we went to the doctor. It was Tuesday evening, and they wrapped it a lot of ace wraps and stuff like that, and just kept it elevated and kept ice on it, and got the swelling to go back down by Friday night. Originally, I wasn't going to get to play Friday night.
Wow.
But I still wasn't sure Friday morning, but Dad was pushing it pretty hard so I could play, and I'm glad I did.
Well, there's a little more than 30 seconds left in the ball game. You probably knew, or maybe you didn't think about it. What were your thoughts before you made this great interception with about 30 seconds left to play in the game that you basically sealed the deal on the ball game. And this is back-to-back, Coach Wright, back-to-back interceptions for Daniel. He had them in the week before. But what was the thought process right before that play?
So our starting will is Wyatt Jones, and he does a great job. And so the first half he had it pretty much locked down, and even most of the third quarter. And so first few minutes of the fourth quarter, he came out with cramp. And I knew then I asked Coach Phillips, and I was going in on our next defensive drive, and I just knew that it was going to be a nail-biter and because it was a close ball game. And they got a kick return down to their red zone, and I just knew that Hart was going to win the game and whoever wanted it more. So I knew that I couldn't be beat, and I knew that I had to do my job and trust my guys to do their job and just trust each other.
You know, when he said Hart, it makes me think of the movie, if I get the title right, Facing the Giants, that they show all the time. You have to believe. You have to have heart. And you did such a great job. And it wasn't that easy a pass to hold on to. And I don't know whether the grass had gotten a little slick down in that area, but you had to do some fancy footwork to also come up with the football, too.
Yes, sir.
And did a good job of holding on and sealed it. Coach, you look like you got something on your mind.
No, I'm proud of him. Like I said, I think he practiced a little bit Thursday in our walkthrough. But other than that, I mean, his number got called, and Wyatt for the second week in a row cramping up on us and did a great job for 3 quarters. And that's what we preach it all the time. And I know they get tired of it, but you have to stay ready. And until you never know when your number is going to be called. And when the play started, they brought the backup quarterback was in because the quarterback's helmet came off, and it was a little bit nervous. I thought he had got behind him, and then we watched the film, and he was behind him, and he just made a great play getting back and recovering and intercepting that pass and not giving up. When you're beat, you can't give up, and he turned and made a play for us. And, man, it's awesome to see the emotion after that and the guys just celebrate with each other. And such a big moment for our program and for our team.
Well, we overcame, and you did too, some adversity. The heart is key. Now, let's talk to you about several things. Meet you up close personal. How many sports do you play?
I play two, football and baseball.
Now, was there ever a time that you got out of football and just played baseball?
So I started playing fourth grade, or I started playing football in fourth grade, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and then played middle school and now high school. I played baseball since I was 4 or 5 years old, so I've played baseball forever.
You played in a T-ball league, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's a year or two that I was more on the baseball side, but I'm glad I stuck with football.
Did you ever consider basketball? Because Coach Teichman can always use a post player.
I get asked that a lot. Right now I'm just going to stick to church league.
Just going to stick to church league.
Yes,
favorite food?
Favorite food, I'm going to have to go with my grandmother's venison.
Wow, that sounds good to me. Now, favorite sport? I'm going to make you pick one. You got to pick one, even though you're good at both of them. And this young man is a dandy first baseman. Mm-hmm. You ought to see his glove work. But if you had to pick one, they told you could only play one the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I'd probably pick football just because the camaraderie with the brothers and the brotherhood that you're part of is something really special.
Favorite thing at Jackson Christian? It can be a class. It can be what I call chapel. And I don't know, what do y'all call it? Do you call it chapel when you have the meetings? And
it's essentially that. We've kind of changed it up a little bit. It's called collective. Just with COVID last year, we didn't have a lot of the full gatherings, and we only do it once a week now, just to kind of minimize that. But it is still a chapel setting. It just looks a little different.
But any activity, including a class, what's your favorite at Jackson Christian?
We have something called Cornerstone, and I really like that. And it's just the boys in your grade, and you just get some all the time with them and really work on building relationships and stuff like that.
Class that you like best, and it may not be your best one, but I like geography and history a whole lot, and it wasn't my best one.
Right.
I was better at math. You couldn't prove it now, though.
Yeah.
What did you like best?
This year I really like history. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Hooper, is our history or teacher, I guess. But I really enjoy going in there and working with him and doing stuff in there.
Favorite drill on the football field?
Favorite drill? I don't know. Probably just one-on-ones with receivers and D-backs. just the whole team watching. And
is that because you're 6'5", or is that just a little advantage in that
just run
drill?
a little fade?
Yeah, the fade route. I loved that. Now, your favorite Bible verse?
Favorite Bible verse? I got it pulled up. It's It's Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. And it's really it's really special to me because, you know, our mascot's an eagle, and it's cool because just playing football and playing different sports, just those things, just hope in the Lord, trust in the Lord, and He got your back.
Absolutely. We got a few seconds, or actually we got about 34. We got to take a break. Your final thoughts. You can say anything to the Jackson Christian School fans out there that you want to.
I don't know. Just keep on coming out and supporting. The student section was actually really good Friday for an away game that far away. They were really loud for how small they were, and it was really fun to have that behind us.
Absolutely.
So just keep on coming out and supporting.
Well, Daniel, I'm looking forward to calling the games. Let's go all the way. I've got a state championship ring, but it's in softball, not in football, and the announcers get one too when you get them. And I want to see you in baseball too. We're going to be back doing baseball games. I get to see you and Coach Bullard both at baseball, and my good friend Chase McLean. And a little known fact by some people, Todd Lumley and I actually did football together. Todd was the play-by-play man, and I was his color man.
That's awesome.
So there's something all folks didn't know. Keep
awesome.
going. You and I, we talked during baseball
Yes,
last
sir, we
year.
did.
He forgot. And keep the head up, have the heart. All
Yes,
good
sir.
things come with time and patience.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, we're going to talk to the foot. You know him as Zach Sisko.
Also coached the Southern Capital Player of the Week.
You do have it now.
So we'll talk
I
a little
saw
bit about
Coach
that.
Darby Palmer disappear a minute ago.
We'll talk a little bit about that when we pick it back up.
That sounds like a winner. There he is. I could also say that he is the best color man, Wesley, and I'm very fortunate to work with people like that. Let's take that 2-minute timeout here at Hub City Deli on the Jackson Christian Coaches Show.
At Southern Family Dentistry, we offer dental treatment for your entire family. We have the latest 3D digital x-ray system. We offer implants, veneers, teeth whitening, and all the other normal services you receive at the dental office. We have 2 offices, one in Milan and one in Jackson, and E+ broadband telephone services allows us to connect both of those offices. It doesn't matter which office the patient calls, we have the ability to speak to that patient at either location.
Men, there's a new salon in Jackson, Race Clips, on South Highland, next door to Roland Safety and Supply. Whether it's a quick trim or a new look, Race Clips stylists can transform you to perfection. At Race Clips, you'll find all the products to keep you looking your best. Active duty military, veterans, and law enforcement officers receive a discount. Open Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, 9 to 3 on Saturday. Race Clips on South Highland, Jackson. Go to race-clips.com.
Buying a car is all about in person, over the phone, or online. We make it simple and easy. Our place is yours, no matter where you live. LonnieCobbFord.com or Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country. At Lonnie Cobb Ford, we now give you a warranty for life on the engine and transmission. That's right, a warranty for life at no cost to you. Unlimited time, unlimited mileage, but it's only at Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country.
Hello, I'm Wes Harris with State Farm Insurance. My customers love the fact that they can call me or my team members anytime. So when they're in an accident on the bypass with somebody that doesn't have insurance, or they come out of the grocery store and somebody's backed into their car and has not left a note, or they come home and there's a tree on the roof, or maybe water pouring out their front door, they call a local agent, somebody that they know. So call me, Wes Harris, with State Farm Insurance, located right here on Van Drive in Jackson.
And we are back. Coach Brian Bullard and Coach Joe Holloway. I'm not actually coaching anymore. He does all the coaching. I do all the running my mouth. But we're on the Jackson Christian Sports Roundup here at Hub City Deli, one of the best delis in America, not just Jackson, Tennessee. And they've got any kind of sandwich that you want. They can even make up things for you, and watch out for their specials. The Piggy Sue with the 2 grilled pork chops is my favorite. Now, Coach Brian Bullard has a big announcement because we try to get that on every week, And, Coach, it's all yours.
Coach McLean, who runs our Twitter account, our football Twitter, it has about around 500 or so followers, Coach. There's a lot of folks that follow that. And Tacker Nash, Cam Boyd, and Zach Cisco were the 3 votes for Southern Capital Play of the Week. And at 7 o'clock it closed at 43% with Zach Cisco taking that this week. And so we're proud of him and fitting that he's here with us tonight. And Cam won it last week with all the yards, and Zach won it this week with his special team work, and it was special for us.
And he has not missed any kicks, Will. But let's go over this while we're talking about the kids, and then I'll let you and Coach Phillips when we finish. First of all, let's see. The kick was great to start us out. That was very important that we score once we got down inside the 20. He hasn't missed any extra points. I believe unofficially, the last stats I was given is Tacker had 9 tackles that we know about. It may have been more than that because I didn't get the unofficial stats.
I think he was at 9, yes, sir.
Yeah, Greg said that he was 9, and Greg always goes back and looks at the film and updates the stats. And Greg informed me your field goal was actually 28 yards, not 27. And I did not see the spot properly. I went back and watched myself. Greg Armour is always right.
He's on it.
He
Yes,
is
sir.
always
He's
right.
on it.
And, of course, Cam had the 131 yards. Now, we need to talk to a young man that, we are going to show something. You can look to your right, and we're going to have the field goal. And if you want to say anything about it, you can. I bet he can play chess, too.
Probably could learn water polo.
And this young man is doing what he has to do
28
for
yards,
the
people, not
team.
27.
Number 14 comes on. He's 6 foot, 160 pounds, just a sophomore. This will be his first field goal attempt of the year. Ball is on the 10-yard line. It'll be 17 yards.
Great
the kick
snap,
is up.
great hold.
Yeah,
Great kick.
it looked good to me.
Coach,
It is good from 17.
It's your first
and the
field goal
Eagles
in
lead
your
3-0.
Yes, sir.
Now, extra
With
points.
the
Eagles leading 3-0. Let's take a timeout on the Jackson Christian School.
Grammatica. He was Automatica Grammatica. So far, you have been Automatica Grammatica.
And we are ready to come back with the regular questions. First of all, you play more than one sport.
Yes, sir. I play football and soccer.
Okay, no baseball involved.
Yes, sir.
And this is unusual because the Cisco was all, even Uncle Jeff used to play a little baseball, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
And your granddad was a mean stick himself in baseball.
Yes, sir.
Of course, you better say hello to your granddad, then I'm going to let Coach Bullard ask you a question.
Hey, Granddaddy.
Okay, that's because David's a good man. We grew up in East Jackson together.
Really, what I want to know from you, Zach, you got some good extra point work in week 1, kicked a lot of extra points. Going out for that first field goal, us needing to get points on the board, and you know how important that is, and they stalled our drive. What was going through your mind, or what does go through your mind before you get ready and kick those field goals?
I was just really excited to finally get in and kick, and I wasn't really nervous at all. I thought I would be, but I just felt like I was kicking by myself out on the field.
And speaking to that, Coach, this man puts in hours at that field. And you're always going to see him up there working, and in different practice segments, he's going to punt, he's going to kick field goals, work on all those things. So I can see that it's just muscle memory for him right now, and we're proud of him.
Well, I was going to say, and I know he went to a ton of kicking camps. Plus, I forgot now who the kicking guru that you've been working with.
James Will Hoyt.
Yeah, Will Hoyt's name escaped me. UT fans will be chasing me after that. Well, that's all right. I know all our kickers from the University of Memphis. But,
there you go.
James is a great kicker, and he's teaching and doing all that. Got to ask you this because Coach spurred something. Do you do mental imaging before you kick a football? Do you see in your mind yourself kicking the football successfully?
Yes, sir, I do.
And positive mental imaging is important. And people, it's all about being positive in this world.
And I've never been a kicker, Coach, but it's got to be a lonely feeling. Because everybody's going to know, unless there's a bad snap or a block kick, everybody knows who's in charge. And that I don't envy Zach at all, but I know that he's preparing himself week in, week out for those moments.
Zach, what about college future? Would you like to be a kicker in college?
Yes, sir, I definitely would be.
What about, are you going to choose soccer or are you going to choose basketball? He's very good at soccer too, people.
Definitely soccer, yes, sir.
The college opportunities are so great now. would you like to still catch a few passes as wideout? This young man has worked hard in the past as a wideout, and I'm sure he still goes through those drills.
Yes, sir. I definitely would, but I just love kicking so much. I'm fine with just doing that too.
Would you like to kick in the NFL one day?
Yes, sir.
And folks, don't get me wrong, this is entirely possible. His form and everything is very good. He's gotten stronger. Kickoffs now can get down to the goal line, something that a year ago when you started this, they weren't getting to the goal line, were they?
No, sir.
And even, what about your big brother? You learn anything from him?
Yes, sir. Definitely did. How to be a hard worker and always just come to practice. And
well, he's very proud of it. He told me that you had a goal not to miss an extra point in your high school career.
I'm going to try to. I don't really count blocks, though. So.
Well, you haven't. The one that doesn't count as an attempt, the one in the first game. You are perfect, and we love that. Now, as far as influences in your life, who you can have a sports hero and somebody else, though, besides a sports hero. Who are a couple of people that's influenced your life?
It's definitely my dad. He'll always come out to the field with me and track footballs and bring them back, and definitely push me to be the best I can.
Yeah, do you know I knew him when he had hair on his head? He went to Northside, and so I knew it. I have to get at him about stuff like that. Yeah, I love him to death, just like. And you know, your aunt helped make a coach out of me. She's one of the best shooters you ever had. You ever seen Luann shoot the ball?
I did not, but I heard it was really good. So.
Very good. What's your favorite class at school?
Probably history.
And favorite teacher?
Probably Miss Tracy.
Miss Tracy. And when you get out of school, if you're not kicking in the NFL, what would you like to do?
I don't know. I've kind of been looking into being a pilot. I feel like that'd be really fun, but I don't really know too much right now.
You don't know too much about that. Coach, you got something else to ask this young man?
I don't really have any questions for him, but I'm kind of in awe of his work ethic, and we got a lot of guys I can say that about. And to me, he's just getting started. He's going to keep working on his body and getting stronger, and he's willing to put the time and the work in. And kicking's kind of like hitting baseball. You can't just go and hit by yourself, and it takes somebody throwing to you. It takes somebody going to get stuff with you, and his dad is always there with him, and he has teammates that will stay with him. And Austin Kelly's our holder, and I've seen Austin after practice working that with him, and those guys they're a freshman and a sophomore, so they're going to be on the field doing that for us for the next few years, and we're excited about that. And I figure next year, maybe the end of this year, that he's going to start booming that ball in the end zone, and that's going to make it a lot easier on us covering those kicks, and that's a weapon to have.
He will. He'll get stronger. Three things got to happen, doesn't it, Zach? Snap's got to be good, the hold, and I'm glad you brought the holder up. People don't realize that. And then you got to finish it, and he has finished it. Now, a couple of quick things. Favorite food?
Fried chicken, definitely.
Favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans.
That is a great one. Now, I want you to say something nice about your mom, who she works hard, supports you just like your dad does.
Yes, sir. Definitely love her, and I'm thankful for everything she's done for me.
Yeah, she's a good one, too. And Shane over there is lucky to have her. And like I said, we love you, grandfather. You and I both do. Your favorite Bible verse?
Philippians 4:13.
Okay. And now, your turn. About 30 seconds to a minute's worth. Anything you want to say to Jackson Christian or just football fans in general out there?
No, sir.
No, sir, nothing. Go. I know one thing they can say. Go Eagles.
Yes, sir.
And what about the upcoming game? Columbia Academy could be tough, couldn't it?
Yes, sir. I'm real excited to get out there and kick. So.
Would you like to kick the game-winning field goal?
Yes, sir.
Sound like a winner. We're going to take a quick timeout. Our special guest was Zach Cisco, and of course Coach Buller and I will be back, and we may get Coach Phillips to scoot back in here. We'll finish this up on the Jackson Christian Sports Recap from Hub City Deli.
Hello, folks. This is Gary Deaton, right here at Deaton's Carpet One. I want to let you know we've been in business for 48 years. Here's what I believe has made the difference. Our lifetime labor warranty on everything we install. Our healthy living installations, bacteria and germs cannot survive in our new flooring. Our beautiful guarantee, if you don't just love it, we'll replace it. It will make your flooring experience priceless. We're located on Freedom Highway, 1000 Highway 45 bypass in good old Jackson, Tennessee.
At Southern Family Dentistry, use E+ broadband at both of our locations. We use digital x-rays at both of our offices, and we need the high-speed access to be able to submit all of our x-rays electronically for the insurance companies. Installation was simple. We experienced little to no downtime. I would highly recommend E+ broadband to anyone in the commercial market. The reliability is second to none, and the service is the best.
And we are back on the Jackson Christian Sports Recap. And to answer a couple of texts I got, unofficially and kind of official, Tacker Nash led us in tackling with 9. But the Southern Capital Player of the Week, one more time, Coach.
Zach Cisco kicked the field goal early, and I want to say average 38 yards a punt. I think that's 38.4 yards a punt, and had one of 40. And kicked a really good ball that we're not going to talk about the officiating too much, but we thought we'd recovered a fumble and just tremendous, giving our coverage guys the opportunity to get down there. And Jalen did a great job for us a couple times there. And they had a dangerous returner. And
yes, they did.
It's a weapon to not have to worry about our guy going out there that he's going to execute for us. And man, special teams is a huge part of the game, and we got a good one.
Gonzalez was as dangerous, and when they put him in the backfield, the young man has speed, and he's got some power, and he had more moves than I thought. I knew he was quick, and I knew he was strong, but he also could shift those hips a little bit and do all that. And I want to reiterate about Zach. Punting and place kicking is not easy. You notice in the pros there are very few of those guys that do both, because you have to open the foot up totally differently to punt that football. And any of y'all that are locking your foot, I'm going to give you a little tip. Don't lock the foot to punt the football, because if you do, you're going to get a very short kick out. His punts were high, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Coach Phillips, you got the defense, and Charlie Lansdale's teams always are very good at running the football. What do we got to do to win this week against Columbia Academy?
I think our D-line has got to hold their ground and let our linebackers make plays. I really, I don't want to say too much, but I really expect a big game out of Tacker and Chance this week.
Yeah, the Chance King, we're glad to have him back. And the funny thing, his big contribution, he contributed, but his big contribution, he caught that long pass and stuff. And I knew Chance had good hands. I didn't know they were that good. And but your defense has risen to the occasion, and sometimes they bend but they don't break, right?
And I'll tell you what, they are a very hardworking group. We mentioned those two, and then two that have kind of set the edge for us, Wyatt Jones and Zach McDonald, have done a fantastic job out in space. So, really, with what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, it could be any of those four that really kind of set the tone for us this Friday.
Zach McDonald, he's another one of those guys. He's kind of like Walker Ray, who's a Swiss Army knife. They can do just about anything. Zach covers kicks and stuff, and you know what? For a guy that's not the heaviest guy in the world, he will hit you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a good defense in the kid. And a lot of times fans don't understand what you're trying to do, or any defensive coach is trying to do. But bear with it. It bears fruit. And you got to bend. Nobody's going to shut anybody down in this day and time. As long as our defense bends and doesn't break, we're going to win football
and
games.
I think to add on to that, after talking with the guys from last year, being my first year doing this, I think Coach Bull, he and I have talked about this a lot. The guys believe in what we do, and that makes a big difference. They put their own skin in the game, so to speak, because they see what we're trying to do, and they understand the plan, and they do a really good job with what we try to do.
And they really did, because you could tell. St. George's had y'all reeling, but you could see on the faces of the kids they aren't going to score. And sure enough, they didn't in that last drive. It was a wonderful effort all game. Coach Bullard, some thoughts from you about what do we got to do to Columbia Academy? And Charlie likes beating us as well as he does anybody, because he used to work here.
Absolutely, and they'll come in confident. 2 years ago we talked about that, and they were 0-4, 0-5, something like that, and came in and beat us at our place. And that taste is still there, and we didn't get to play them last year. But we're, offensively, our identity is running the football. Behind those guys up front, we have to keep doing a good job getting Gage comfortable. And he hasn't had a lot of in-game experience, but he is doing a great job leading us right now. And if we were able to run the ball, it takes a lot of pressure off him, and receivers making plays, and we're going to continue to take that into every game. And especially if we can get our defense holding the guys to 20 points, I thought was pretty good with that team and that talent they had. And if we can get it going together, running the football, playing defense, it could be good for the Eagles.
Absolutely. Eagle football, 7:30 start again.
Yes, sir.
And we do that. The AstroTurf gets hot, folks, whether you know that or not. And it's a good thing to protect our young men and the other team's young men. We'll have the pregame show at 7. It will be on Jackson Christian's Facebook. It will be on the Booster Club Facebook. It will also be on Worthy Road Studios / the Ball Game Blitz Facebook. It will be on the 93 Facebook, and I think sometimes they are actually taking our audio, and I'll make sure of that. Guys, final statement from each one of you to the fans.
I just appreciate all the support, and I'll always tell the parents that I appreciate them. My job is fun, being able to work with these guys, and I love what I do and love getting to wake up every morning and be at school with them and go to practice with them. It's just a really fun group of guys to be around.
They are.
We Daniel, I think, touched on it earlier. We our fans coming an hour away, our students coming from an hour away, being there for us. And when we got done shaking hands and showing our respect to St. George's, we just sent our guys over to thank them, not for credit for us, but to thank them for coming and supporting us. And they don't. I'm not sure you know what it means. They know how much they mean to us on those third down, fourth down plays, especially play from our own end of the field. We're trying to get a stop and hearing that. And I've heard some people talking about tailgating this week, and we'd love to have everybody out early and just being here for them. They put in a ton of hours. We put in a lot of hours, but these guys, their commitments, they're turning down trips and things and priorities and being there over the summer and those long days. And it's rewarding to see the crowd and to hear the crowd being behind them.
It really is. And where I sit, I get to either look at it across the way and you can hear it, or they're in front of us. And it just does wonders. Makes me want to do something foolish and go put football pads on. And at 70, I don't need
Coach, we don't need you doing that.
I don't need to get hit by any of these young men. What we want you to do is come to the games, listen to it. Sitting across from me, the greatest executive producer there is, Paul Schultze. This show, as every Jackson Christian football game, is archived on YouTube, and you can go back and watch every exciting moment. And we want to thank you, the fans, for supporting our school, and also for these fine coaches coming down on a night. The coaches don't get enough nights off. And, of course, Coach Phillips has brought his beautiful children with him. They are.
Coach, we want to make sure we thank Hub City Deli, too. We switched the night up on them, and they were ready for us.
Oh, Hub City
we appreciate
awesome.
them taking care of our players, getting them a meal, and
they
letting
do
us
a lot
do this
for
show.
us.
Absolutely.
But we need to do a lot for them because this is the best deli in town, and I will stand behind it. That's the reason I was going to end with talking about them. Be listening for when the Piggy Sue, I know I'm pushing it, but folks, I know how good he is. I actually ate one here, bought two, and took home and warmed them up, and they're still good warmed up, but they can take over. They'll let you have carry out here too, and come down here. We don't have to be here, but these kids are kind enough. They will sign autographs if you want. I've been asked that, and they probably let you get their picture made. And they're not like college athletes. There's no NIL. They aren't going to charge you for anything like that. And come down here and see these kids. They're wonderful people. Support them. And, of course, like I said, you get to meet the coaches and stuff too. But I guess it's time to say thanks for your time this time. Till next time, good night all.